stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Sarah, please proceed with the roll call.
Mercedes Evans.
Here.
Thomas Fink is absent. Michelle Forbes.
Here.
Jennifer Hoover.
Here.
Tim Jackson. Luisa La Silva.
Here.
Emily Smith.
Here.
And Alex Jackson.
Thank you. Quorum being present, we'll proceed with our business this evening, beginning with a special hearing to consider our contract with Verizon. And before we commence with that part of the special hearing, I'm just going to offer some opening remarks with regards to the franchise renewal. So this is a public hearing of the Borough Council regarding cable franchise renewal. This public hearing is held pursuant to Section 626 of the Federal Cable Act, which sets forth the process for franchise renewal. The borough's current franchise with Verizon is within the industry norm renewal window, and the borough is beginning the process of renewing the franchise. This public hearing is part of the preliminary portion of franchise renewal, in which the borough reviews the cable operator's past performance and identifies the borough's future cable-related community needs. As such, as part of this public hearing, we invite comments from citizens who wish to speak regarding either or both of these subjects. Franchise renewal is the best opportunity for Camp Hill to assert its rights with respect to Verizon and to obtain important benefits in return for granting Verizon the right to use our right-of-way. It includes numerous benefits, from having strong customer service standards to having maximized franchise fees to providing better mechanisms to enforce the agreement, among other reasons. So in addition, or for these potential, the franchise renewal process allows us to realize or improve upon these potential benefits. And again, citizens who wish to address this matter or any of these items related to our franchise renewal with Verizon are welcome to do so right now. I would just please ask if you do have comments regarding the franchise renewal to please come to the podium and state your name and address and keep your comments limited to 3 minutes. Thank you. We didn't anticipate much comments, but it is just a required part of the process. So, hearing no public comments regards to the franchise renewal, we will convey that information to our attorneys working with us on this. And with that, we will close the special hearing. So that then brings us to the beginning of our regular business this evening, starting with public comment. Again, if you have any public comment, please come to the podium. State your name and address, and do please be mindful of the 3-minute limit so that everyone has an opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Petters, and I live at 2001 Dighton Street. I have 2 children, a 2nd grader and a kindergartner, and I have never sent a child to school without fear of a school shooting. In fact, from the age of 9 years old, when I watched the news of Columbine shooting flash across our TV screen, I have lived in fear of a school shooting. I know that we all wish that this was not the case. None of us want to see this or any kind of violence happen to our children. And so I'm here before you today to ask that we go the extra mile to protect the kids in our small community. Over the last few years, I've seen safety updates made to our schools, and I'm so grateful. I know that Dr. Surface and the principals and staff of our schools prioritize the physical safety of our children. But I also know that in any organization, there can be obstacles, financial and otherwise, that can stand in the way of change. I and some of the other parents here with me today are requesting that we work to increase the number of school resource officers in our schools. Officer Capers does a truly wonderful job, but he is one man, and we've all watched these horrors play out in the news. Within moments that open fire begins in a school shooting, lives are lost. There is just no way that one man can adequately cover 3 separate buildings. We understand that immediately being able to find and fund 4 officers to be solely school resource officers is a huge ask, and for many reasons will take time. In the meantime, we hope that we can work toward training at least one other officer, preferably a female officer, to increase approachability, to be an additional SRO in our schools, and to split the responsibility with officer capers. Lastly, we ask that the borough and the chief of police consider increasing police presence around the schools throughout the day. Maybe an officer is coming back from a call and can swing by a school building for a few minutes. Police presence does act as a deterrent, and I believe we can get creative, if we have to make sure that we have regular police sightings in the parking lots and streets around our school. Sadly, this is the world that we live in, and we cannot bury our heads in the sand and pretend that it won't happen here. Our children deserve to be safe at school, and we owe it to them to do absolutely everything in our power to create that safety. We have the beauty of this wonderful community where we can work together to make this happen for our children. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jolie Bovender. I live at 232 North 25th Street. I also am here with the parents tonight to speak about an additional SRO. I have two boys. One is not in school yet, and one is in Hoover in second grade. And the issue that most parents have in this community is safety of the school. And I'm here tonight to ask for two specific requests from the borough to act in unison with the chief of police. And that's an additional school resource officer and additional police presence in and around our schools. And I'll try to be as quick as possible, but I'm sure you know the SROs in our community serve in such great ways. They are mentors to our students. They develop and strengthen relationships between students and police officers. They focus on early intervention and de-escalation of bullying and drug use in our schools. And most importantly, they provide security and safety within our schools from internal threats as well as external threats. Officer Capers is amazing, there is no doubt. He is wonderful. But we have over 1,300 students in our school district, over 4 schools in 3 buildings miles apart. If something happens at Hoover and he's at Eisenhower, that is lives lost. It may seem unreasonable, but other schools in our area have implemented this. York County, West York, Central York, they have police officers in every school. Carlisle, the same thing. They also have hall monitors in every school. CV School District also has a police officer present in the school. My hometown's an hour northeast. It's the same size as Camp Hill. It's a mile-long town. They have 2 police officers in their school district. It's a funding issue. We understand that. We have had meetings with Dr. Surface. He has explained to us the grant program. He's explained to us the taxes. He's explained to us as best as he could where the grant money goes. And most of it goes towards mental health in the school. And we are so, so grateful for that. So that takes care of the internal threats. We are worried about external threats as well. And what I'm asking for Borough Council to consider helping fund an additional SRO for a school district is, I understand it's a huge financial burden. I understand there's many competing priorities, but investing in the safety and well-being of our children is just not a line item. I'm sorry, it's not. The cost of an additional SRO is modest compared to a potential consequence of a crisis happening. And I know that there is cadets in the academy right now, and I know that they will need to undergo training and things like that. But again, there's things we can do today in addition to getting another SRO. And that is first ensuring that Officer Capers has a backup. Currently, there is no backup for him. If he's sick, if he's on vacation, there's no one to step in. So that we have talked again to the Borough Safety Council. That's a minimal cost, and it's a week training. The second is upping our police presence at school, as Liz Petters had said, being there during open campus times, maybe even touring the school randomly. Dr. Surface has said numerous times to us, he welcomes the police in the school. Maybe during patrol, they just randomly walk through Eisenhower. Maybe they park at Hoover and just tour the school. Maybe that's just part of the patrol that we can do with the officers we have on staff now. And I I just urge you to take this matter seriously. It's very important to our community. So thank you for your time, your service, and your dedication.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, my name is Carrie Backer. I reside at 2506 Market Street, and I am a Campbell resident and mom of 2 children, the older of whom is in 2nd grade at Hoover. I am here this evening to express my desire for the implementation of additional security measures within the Campo School District, specifically an increased police presence and a security resource officer at each school location, Hoover, Eisenhower, and the middle and high school. After the latest school shooting at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis, I found myself listening to one of the mothers, Malia Kimbrell, speak. Here is in part what she said. But I want to warn you, if you think the next time there's a school shooting that it won't hit your neighborhood and the people you love, think again. Without action, we will be here again, mourning the loss of innocent lives. If you have one shred of decency, 1 ounce of compassion, 1 moment of clarity, you will do something. You will be part of the change. You will pray and you will move your feet and you will take action. Speak up, raise your voice, demand change. Think the thoughts, pray the prayers, and then do the things. Because we all know that thoughts didn't stop the bullets, prayers didn't stop the bullets, action is our only hope. School shootings can and do happen anywhere at any time, and while I do not wish to make this political in any way, it's clear that there will be no legislation approved that makes a meaningful difference in the gun epidemic. As such, the responsibility for keeping our children safe falls to each individual community. Dr. Surface, the school board, principals, teachers, guidance counselors, and staff are doing the absolute best they can to monitor and support the mental health of our students, spending nearly all of their grant money on school-based counseling programs and using their resources to help the students understand how their life can be altered if they ever choose to pose a threat. This is a key piece in handling school violence. The other piece, of course, is having protection should a threat materialize from inside or outside of the school, and this is where I hope you will step in. Right now, we have 1 SRO, a very wonderful and capable one, covering 3 schools, around 1,300 students. That is a big ask, and while I don't love to spend time dwelling on it, the fact is that if a tragedy were to occur in one of our schools, the minute that he has to change his location to protect students in another school, it is already too late. I know that funding is extremely limited and that it's easier to talk about what won't work than it is to talk about what will. But please, let's talk about it. If additional full-time SROs are off the table at this time, could we send one of the existing officers to the SRO training to ensure there is a backup for Officer Capers? Could we increase the police presence at the schools? Since Officer Capers spends more of his time in the middle and high school, could the other officers on patrol make it a point to be visible and present at Eisenhower and Hoover at times such as the morning commute and drop-off, recess, and pickup? Could they make it a point to walk through the schools 1 to 2 times a week? Could we even stretch our resources by having just a police vehicle parked in front of the schools during the day to deter external threats? But maybe even, could we shift our priorities and make room for the funding of additional SRO positions? Research has shown that for every dollar invested in an SRO program, a minimum of $11 of social and economic value was created. The benefits include prevention of property damage in the school and surrounding areas, prevention of student injuries and even death due to violence and drug overdoses, reduction of the need for schools to call 911, reduction of the likelihood that a student will get a criminal record, an increase of the likelihood that students, especially those with mental health issues, will get the help they need from social service and the healthcare systems, and an increase in feelings of safety among students and staff. This is in addition to the benefits that the police force would see in their own goals. By having more SROs present in the school, you're strengthening the relationship between the neighborhood and law enforcement, fostering a sense of community and safety, and helping create a more informed and proactive community, all of which are goals taken directly from the National Night Out program, which we sponsor here every year. Please know, we are extremely grateful for everything the Borough Police Department and School District are doing to keep our children safe. It's just that we have all watched as locked doors, vestibule system, panic buttons, and security cameras alone fail. If we can do more to ensure the safety of our children and the preservation of this unique community, shouldn't we? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Josh Bovender, 232 North 25th Street. Good evening to the council, President Hoover, and to everyone else on the council this evening. Thank you for taking the time to hear us. I'm the parent of 2 boys who live in the borough, and I want to echo what Carrie and Liz and Jolie had already said, and that is to express the gratitude for what the council's done, for what the men and women of the police force have done for our community. This is truly a special place to live, and it's because of the volunteerism and the time that you guys take to do that, so thank you. Echoing what they said, though, on the idea of having an increased police presence specifically to address external threats. Not to repeat what they said, but my ask of the council would be to consider a 3-year plan to achieve that goal. I see binders are out, little white binders, which I presume are budget binders, and you're looking through each line item, counting pennies, and God bless you in that noble task. We are aware that this is not something that's achieved quickly, but given the value of what's at stake, I think the patience of all parents is present to put in the time necessary to continue to work towards that plan. And my simple suggestion is a 3-year plan to address the goals that you heard from the mothers this evening. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next. No, okay. Thank you very much for your comments. I know some conversations have been discussed in the Public Safety Committee, and those conversations will continue, and as indicated tonight, as part of budget process as well, is underway. So, and if the chief has any comments now or later throughout the meeting to offer, you may.
I think Tim Jackson is going to comment on this as our public safety chair, and the mayor and I have already been talking about this, and we're going to be talking with Tim much more in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to President's announcements. I think my only announcement to share, and Mercedes will share more later as part of the Administration and Finance Committee, but welcome, Alex, our new junior council person program. We're glad to have you. Moving on then to our manager's report. Sarah.
Good evening. Our administrative staff participated in a building tour of this building to prepare for an emergency drill. This is sponsored by our Workplace Safety Committee, and we continue to take the lead in improving the safety of our facilities and the readiness of our staff. We will submit our application to the state this month to renew our certification with the state, which gives us a 5% discount on our workers' compensation insurance. This month, I submitted our application to renew our Tree City USA membership. This program is run by the Arbor Day Foundation. The main requirements are to recognize Arbor Day annually in April, to set aside funds for tree maintenance, and to provide public education about trees. Our Shade Tree Commission has been very active this year with an education station at Stormfest and more permits than they have ever had before for pruning, removal, and planting of shade trees. This week is the Commonwealth Sustainability Week, and they are offering online presentations over lunch each day. The themes focus on promoting policies relating to climate resilience as it relates to the economy and political trends. This week is sponsored by the Pennsylvania Green Gov Council and Penn State. And finally, the Bee City USA Committee is hosting a plant exchange and giveaway on Saturday, October 18th from 9 to 11 a.m. here at Borough Hall. Committee members will bring plants from their own gardens, and some plants from the Borough Pollinator Garden will be separated and shared. The committee has also been on the lookout for gardens they think might be nice to include in their 2026 garden tour. So if you have a garden, your door may be tagged with an invitation. It's not going to be taped, so don't worry. With an invitation to participate, and just they've noticed your garden, and they're also welcoming people to come forward who are interested in participating as well. And that's what I have to report.
Thank you, Sarah. Moving on then to our mayor's report.
Okay, thank you. For the month of September, the police officers responded to 729 calls for service. Year-to-date totals at 6,897 calls. Events or some training. Detective Nate Sellers attended a 3-day field training officer certification in September. SRO Capers attended the Homeland Security House of Worship Safety and Security Symposium. He also attended on September 17th the Pennsylvania School Safety Summit. On Wednesday, September 24th, there was a bank robbery that took place here in Camp Hill at Fulton Bank. I want to commend our police department, Chief Margison, and also Lower Allen Police Department and the West Shore Regional Police Department for the quick apprehension of the suspects. It was literally 15 minutes, 20 minutes. They had the suspects, so that's a great job. Fire department ran 36 calls in September. We spent 45 hours on those calls. We have an open house, fire department open house, same day as the Harvest Hop, Saturday, October 18th from 10 to 2, right here in front of the Borough Building and the firehouse. So we invite everybody to come down. That's my report.
Thank you, Mayor. Moving on then to our engineers report. Mike?
Thank you. Several things to report this month. The first is the maintenance and emergency repair contract. You may remember I mentioned last month that was set to expire, and we were in the process of rebidding it. This is a contract so that we have a contractor available to respond to any kind of emergency conditions. So if a pipe collapses in the middle of the night or something like that, we don't have to go through the process of putting it out to bid. We already have a contractor who's bid it. So we bid that contract, and we received one bid. It's the same contractor who currently holds the contract, who has been satisfactory for the last 5 years. The base duration of the contract is 3 years with 2 optional 1-year extensions, so it can go out to 5 years. There is a price on the contract because we had to have them bid something, so we have all the contractors bid a standard set of services, but what we really pay them depends on what we really need them for, and if we don't need them at all, we don't pay them at all. But the standard set of services that this bidder bid on was $303,075. So our request tonight is to award that maintenance and emergency repair contract to Rogel, Inc. And I have attachment A in my report if you're interested to see what the set of services was that they bid on. So that's our first requested action for tonight. The second is for sanitary sewer lining. The borough has an ongoing maintenance and lining project for the sanitary sewer lines to prevent inflow and infiltration groundwater from getting into the stormwater, the sanitary sewer system. This year we solicited quotes through the CoStars program and selected a bid from Mr. Rehab, who has done lining work in the borough in the past and has generally done a good job and been very good to work with. Their quote was $344,955 for the sanitary sewer lining project. Their schedule, they've indicated that they can start cleaning the lines in October and start installing the liners in November. So that would be our second requested action, is to award the sanitary sewer lining contract to Mr. Rehab in the amount of $344,955.50. A couple of other items to update you on. We've filed for 2 grants since our last meeting. The first one was a Commonwealth Financing Authority Local Share Account Category 4 grant for sidewalks along Cumberland Boulevard between 25th and 26th Street. There's a sidewalk there that extends half the block. That's as far as the last grant could take us. And we would like to get it at least the rest of the way to 26th Street to complete that connection. So we filed for a grant to LSA in the amount of $144,388. And we're waiting to see if we're successful on that. The second grant that we filed for is a PennDOT TASA, and TASA is a Transportation Alternatives Set-Aside project to do sidewalks along Market Street, basically picking up where the streetscape project left off and extending to 29th Street. We had hoped to maybe get all the way to 32nd Street, but that would have exceeded the value that the grant program could offer. We filed for that grant on September the 5th. And it's filed initially in draft format. Then we have a meeting with PennDOT to get feedback, whether or not they liked our application, some changes they might like to see. That meeting is scheduled for tomorrow morning. So I think Sarah and I will both be on that call to see what kind of feedback we can get from PennDOT on that grant. And then lastly, this is just kind of a bookkeeping item. The contractor who built our Seabrook Park project, the stream trail and kayak launch, has been purchased by another larger contractor. That contractor who bought them now assumes all of the responsibilities that the old contractor had in terms of warranties and bonds and those sorts of things. So they're asking that the borough execute basically a transfer of responsibility document to recognize that it is now Kinsley Construction and not ARRC who has those responsibilities. I think Lee's office has looked at it, had a comment or two, which the contractor made. So that would be our third and final requested action tonight, is to execute the assignment and assumption agreement, which is also in my report as attachment C. And that's everything I have.
Thank you, Mike. And all of those items were also recently discussed in the Public Works Committee. Any questions for Mike? Okay. Moving on then to our consent agenda. Is there a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
Emily moves, Michelle seconds. All in favor? Consent agenda is adopted. Moving on then to our reports of committees and liaisons, starting with Tim of the Public Safety Committee.
Thank you. The meeting for public safety was held Thursday, October the 2nd. We covered a couple of topics, the first of which was micromobility. That continues to be an open topic that we'll continue to discuss. And the matter before us was really about the safety of the students as they mostly travel up and around the borough. I'll say excluding the schools, as the schools have taken measures for kids to stay off their scooters in those zones. And so there have been a few action items, the first of which was Superintendent Surf has shared his overview for the plans for Bike Safety Week, which I believe was held on October the 8th. In addition, Chief Margerson indicated that safety flyers would be sent to parents just as an educational tool, basically educating parents in the sense that scooters are not permitted on public roadways. Those educational items will continue, and the committee will continue to discuss this and alternatives and options in order to keep our kids safe, and then reach out and communicate via the media that we have available to us. The second piece was discussed not only in public comment, but in brief by Chief Margerson. The first thing I'd like to say is thank you for those who were participating at the committee meeting and those who are in attendance this evening. Thank you for your participation, thank you for your advocacy, and thank you for helping us create change. And so that said, there are some commitments that both the mayor and Chief Margerson have made, and the first of which is to certify an SRO in the beginning of 2026. The reason that timing is important to us is because, as many of you know, we are dealing with a shortfall of officers at this time. When we are fully staffed, we have 12 officers. We have 8 right now. The 4 are in cadet training, and that is due to conclude in December, at which time, in early 2026, an additional officer will be certified as an SRO. Please know that we will continue to discuss this, considering everything that we have before us, our options, opportunities, alternatives, in order to get to a place where I think the borough would be comfortable with, in consideration with everything that we have to consider. And then lastly, Mayor talked a little bit about the Fulton Bank robbery. It's Chief, right? And I think the takeaway there is sometimes when we talk about public safety and police action, there's a little bit of confusion maybe with the way that the borough operates with mutual aid. And this was an example, I think, that we walked through in committee on how the different municipalities work together very efficiently and effectively. And I think the takeaway for me to communicate to those in the borough is that not only do we have mutual aid agreements, but they're extremely effective. The communication is very good, and this was just the latest example of what that looks like when the municipalities do collaborate. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Does anybody have questions?
What was the,
You think I have questions?
okay.
Okay. Regarding the commitment for SRO training in 2026, is there a cost to that?
It's approximately a $500 tuition program, and that is well within our normal training budget.
Okay. Okay, that answers part of that question. While we would certify an additional officer for that purpose, that additional officer though would have to be agreed upon by the school district as well and through an MOU of some sort?
I don't think that the MOU specifies which officers that may be, although we would certainly.
That would just be the backup officer,
Right,
not an additional?
right.
Okay. In the event that there would be additional SRO officers, though, our MOU would have to be modified and/or agreed to by the school
To
district?
reflect that, yes.
Okay. Okay. Do we know if the school district is in agreement with having additional SROs in their buildings?
I assume that they are, any kind of officers in their building, they would welcome us, as one of the speakers noted tonight and the superintendent noted at the public safety meeting. So they would encourage us to have as much presence as possible, SRO or otherwise.
Mayor?
The school board or the school district hasn't agreed to any additional SROs at this point. We need to put the cost together and
Correct.
all that.
Because
Or is that-
that is a shared,
Right.
remind me, 50/50?
50/50.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Just a lot of, we appreciate, as Tim said, we appreciate comments and advocacy. There's just, always also additional questions we need to take into consideration.
Okay, I remembered my question. I did have those same questions as Jennifer, so thank you for asking those. I have a question about these e-scooters. So if kids are driving down the street on their e-scooters, which is illegal, and we're all aware of that, and I hope all of the parents become aware of that they can't be off your private property, if you were to enforce it, Chief, who would get in trouble? Like, how do you do that? I'm just like, I wonder about what enforcement looks like, because I know this is a very new thing, and they're just starting to do enforcement in Hampton Township and other municipalities.
Enforcement in each municipality is, there's a wide array of ways that can take shape. We're going to try and go an educational approach first. As a matter of fact, we just talked about that today, and Joe Capers and I just talked about that today. As Tim mentioned, Joe Capers was at the Eisenhower and junior high today, specifically talking about traffic safety, and the probably main focus was scooter and e-bike and bicycle safety issues. So we're going to be cranking something out in conjunction with the school district through their Blackboard communication platform, as well as our borough platforms, to reinforce what is legal and what isn't legal. And by not that it helps us today, there is pending legislation which would make them illegal until you're 16. And then they would be the e-bikes, motorized scooters would all fall under that. That doesn't help us today, and who knows how fast anything may be accomplished in that respect. So we're gonna try to hit heavy probably within the next week on the educational aspect, and we're really targeting the parents, I think, as Tim alluded to. That's who we need to get to. The kids they hear it in school and they hear about it, but we really need parents to start taking some proactive steps. And we're also going to ask perhaps for the school district to take some more proactive steps in terms of what kind of vehicles can be parked in their bike racks and things like
Right.
that.
I was
Yes.
going to say, that was going to be one of my
Yes.
questions. So I understand that they are prohibited unless on private property by state law.
Yes.
It could also be the option of the school district to prohibit them on school district property altogether.
Right. Yes,
Okay.
but literally every meeting I'm at right now, e-scooters come up in conversation. The mayor and I were at the rec commission meeting last night, and it came up in conversation. And one of the rec commissioners did not know that they're not legal on the street.
Right.
So I think there's like a high bar of understanding that is not being met by the community in general. And there's lots of people who are very worried, like myself, that someone's going to get hit. You know, I mean, like literally those kids don't stop at stop signs and they're going
Right.
25 miles an hour down the street without helmets on.
You're absolutely right. I think scooters came upon us very innocently, that's fun and that looks nice, and now it's just like a beehive of
Yeah.
scooter riders, scooter mania.
Yeah.
And we're very concerned. We've seen, I think all of us have seen, just
Yeah.
people just flying around like the Jetsons. And so,
Yes.
so we're really gonna, again, through, and we've talked, I don't see her here tonight, but Beth will be, she'll help disseminate information on every borough platform besides our Crime Watch, but also the school district through the Blackboard, and we really need to push it to parents.
Yeah, I mean, one last note on this, because it's really driving me insane. Like, there have been kids who have gotten hit by cars because they don't look both ways. They jump out from between cars. And they're walking, you know what I mean? So, like, the speed at which these kids can get to is my major concern, because no one has enough time to react.
And hardly, I don't mean to sound like I'm picking on kids riding scooters, but the helmets are few and far between.
Yeah.
So it is just a recipe for injury and disaster.
Yeah, and I would just like to finally note, as you know, my term is shortening day by day. I think golf carts being legal on the streets of Camp Hill would be safer than e-scooters.
But I just want to point out that Tim has had the conversation, public safety meetings, we've been discussing it for how long, right?
Yeah.
And the problem is it's children, so it's just delicate. But,
They can't afford those e-scooters. Their parents are buying them for them.
yes, but then what happens if you buy one and then we're told you can't ride it, so. Anyway, it's currently
Thank you.
considered.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Lisa, sorry about that.
Chief, what would be our goal with enforcement? Do we want the kids to be driven to school instead?
Well, not necessarily. They can ride traditional bicycles, are fine. They can walk, ride a bike, maybe a lot of them. The older they get, it seems the more they get driven or drive themselves to school, so.
As long as it doesn't have the motor.
Right.
yeah, they can use it. It's just once you add a motor, they're not allowed. So they could ride a bike or a scooter or a skateboard or skip.
But, but the future of bikes is e-bikes.
Yeah, but right now, the law says that they're not allowed. Not e-bikes, e-scooters. E-scooters.
I got a pro tip from a mom that's here so just with everything, there's oversaturation of information, and it could be kind of like analysis paralysis, and that's probably one of the reasons why the message isn't getting across. So the pro tip was having the teachers sent out an email, maybe with the flyer, because most parents will look at an email from a teacher. Right, yeah. So just want to pass that on.
Okay, thank you. I don't want those to sit in the audience who have expressed comments, serious comments about school safety. All of us have children in this community. And just want you to know we hear you. And as, you know, as we talk about scooters and we talk about other things, you know, we will certainly, as we said, continue to have those conversations. And do the best by our children and in our community as we can. Okay. Moving on then to community and business relations, please. Public Works.
Okay. Public Works met yesterday. We have 4 action items. 3 of them Mike already went over. The 4th action item is the sale of a Ventrac tractor on Municipid. We got a pretty good price for it of $18,500. And other things that were discussed yesterday that are not action items were the curb ramp construction project. So as you know, there have been delays. So now the plan is to finish it by June of next year. HRG is also working on their report for options for, excuse me, the flood mitigation for Harvard Run. And they're estimating to complete the report by February. Now, we still don't know which option we will take, but many of those options will require easements from affected property owners. So hopefully those property owners will be amenable to signing those easements so that we can help them fix the problem. The work on the Creek Road pump station continues. This is at the bottom of the Blackberry Run Trail in Seabird Park. So during construction time, they put up barriers and signs, so please, please, please stay out of the construction area. Also, there was an inquiry about who is responsible for the maintenance of the tennis and pickleball courts at Camp Hill United Methodist Church. So at those courts, and those are school district properties, so the school district is responsible for the maintenance. The next meeting of the Public Works Committee is on Election Day. So if you vote in the Borough Building, you could stop by 8 a.m. before or after voting. Public Works meetings are always fun.
I don't know about that, Louisa. Moving on to community and business relations.
Okay. Community and Business Relations met on September 16th. Discussed were the ADA compliance measures and improvements being made digitally. I knew I would have a problem saying that. The committee finalized the wayfinding signs that are part of the Market streetscape. Ms. Gibson shared that the application has been submitted with the state for a comprehensive plan, with the RFP expected to be posted in January of 2026. The DCHA is still waiting to hear a response for their request for funding for their ULI study, and we have often discussed ways to engage with residents and business owners in a more relaxed setting. So I am pleased to announce that our next scheduled meeting is going to be a little different. We will have a table at Market on Market. Is that what it is? Market on Market for a casual chat with council meeting on October 21st. So residents can come up and just talk about anything with us, borough related, and we hope you will join us. It's in 2 weeks on the 21st. That's my report.
Thank you. Moving on to Parks and Recreation.
I have a lot to go over today. As you know, there's some community activities happening in the coming weeks and months. Number one, youth basketball signups are currently happening, and the evaluations for travel already happened, and for recreation is November 6th. So November 6th for evaluations. Anyone interested in coaching should fill out our coach application ASAP. Okay, Halloween. The Halloween parade is October 27th at 6 p.m. This is Monday. It's on a Monday. The rain date is on Tuesday, October 28th. Businesses and organizations need to be registered by October 14th. You can't, if you're going to have something in the parade as a business or organization, you can't show up on the day of the parade. It messes us up. There's way too much going on. So please, please, please get in your applications if you want to do that and come out to the Halloween parade. Trick or treat. This year, the actual Halloween, October 31st, falls on a Friday. So that means that trick or treat this year is on Thursday, October 30th, from 6 to 8 p.m. If there is inclement weather, it will be held on Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. That decision will be made by noon and posted on our website and social media. Okay, moving on to December. The holiday tree lighting is December 4th at 6 p.m. This year, Camp Hill is partnering with Mid-Penn Bank and hosting the annual holiday tree lighting at the Borough Building, and then everyone can go to Mid-Penn Bank for hot chocolate cookies and write letters to Santa and visit with Santa. Toys for the Marines will be there to accept toys for the Toys for Tots program. And then the Parade of Lights is December 5th and 6th. From 6 to 8 p.m. So that's going to be in Willow Park again this year. There will be, I'm sorry, there's so much information here. I'm trying to figure out what's the most important thing to tell you.
Text is so tiny.
I know. Take the glasses off, put the glasses on. The Marines will be there accepting toys at the Toy Cubes. There will be a trolley again on Friday night, and that will be leaving from the Borough Building. If you would like to get involved in the Parade of Lights, like have a light display, you can fill out a registration form on our website. The guidelines include information about setting up displays between November 30th through December 2nd. And Audrey is always looking for volunteers if anyone wants to volunteer to help out with that. Next, the Volunteer of the Year Award is coming up. So we are looking for applications for nominations. It says applications in here, and I know the answer is nominations. So if you go on the website, you can nominate your favorite volunteer in Camp Hill. And those nominations need to be into the Recreation Office by November 1st, and the winner of Volunteer of the Year will be announced at the December council meeting. Also, the Recreation Commission has openings for 2026 to 2028. If you would like to apply, there are 3 openings, so include a cover letter and resume to the Recreation Office by December 1st. I will say that as someone who sits on the Recreation Commission, as chair of this Recreation Committee, It's a good commission. It only meets 4 times a year, so it's, that's the meeting part of it, and then the fun part is you get to go volunteer at all of the activities around town, which is the part that actually takes all the time. So go ahead and apply for that if you're interested. And I think that that is all of my notes.
Thank you, Emily. Any questions? No? Okay. Moving on to planning and zoning, Louisa.
Okay, Tom is somewhere in France, and we wish him the best, but we want him back.
Get back here.
Okay, planning and zoning met on September 19th. Colton responded to 145 calls and complaints and issued 43 permits. We have 2 action items. The first action item is to adopt the ordinance to install a full stop intersection at Russell Road and Country Club Road. We are waiting for East Pennsboro to adopt a similar ordinance, but we will adopt ours tonight. The second action item is a stormwater operations and maintenance agreement for a property at 2600 Logan Street. And we had a short discussion about that, and in the future, we will send standard stormwater O&M agreements directly to council for approval, so the committee doesn't really need to discuss them. We continued discussing about various possible future ordinances. The traffic calming ordinance, we talked about parking of RVs on residential properties. We will continue discussing on these, about these topics. We also talked about EV chargers on residential properties. And so currently installing an EV charger in the right-of-way, even if it's in front of your property, it is illegal. And we decided that we do not want to legalize that because it's not aesthetic, and there would be a lot of problems when the whole house gets sold. So if you want to have an electric vehicle and if you have the option to charge in your garage, that's better. Many people don't have that option, so for those, we are going to talk about installing EV chargers at the borough. But it is not legal to install an EV charger at your property in the right-of-way, in the green verge. We're planning to develop a new comprehensive plan, so we have applied for grant funds to cover the cost of that. And we hope to begin working on that plan in December. The Community and Business Relations Committee will oversee that implementation, and there will be a steering committee for the comprehensive plan. We also continue talking about possible changes that we might make to parking minimums in the zoning ordinance. This is something that the Camp Hill businesses feel very strongly about. And we also got an update on code enforcement activity, a special event permitting process, and existing laws regulating e-scooters. And the next Planning and Zoning Committee is on October 17th at 8:15 a.m. with Tom back. Thank you. Any questions?
Any question? Louisa, you talked about the stormwater agreement? Was there? Yes, okay,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Alrighty, thank you. Moving on to administration and finance, Mercedes?
I am so excited to announce the appointment of our new junior council member, Alex Jackson. Alex is a junior at Camp Hill High School and is currently taking Mr. Tubbs' AP US History class, and you've also taken civics, right? Civics and government from him. In addition, Alex is a president of the Youth and Government Club, a member of the varsity's girls soccer team, and holds a leadership position with the Camp Hill School Minithon. She has interest in government and community involvement with a bright future ahead of her. Your teacher said that, so that's pretty sweet. She is excited to represent the student voice on the board, so I just want to say welcome, and we're excited to have you here. All right. I have a few action items. What, did you have something? Oh, yeah, you want to? Okay, afterwards? Okay. All right, so we have some items to consider for approval. One of them is the approval of Managed Information Technology Service contract with Appalachia Technology. I just want to commend Tammy in particular. The borough's office manager worked incredibly hard to compare and contrast all of the IT companies that had applied to be considered for the borough's IT services. And Appalachia was kind of the best of the best, but they were too expensive, and I don't know how she did it, but like 2 days after our meeting, they dropped the price by a lot, so by like $3,000, so it made it accessible for the borough, so that's why this is an action item here today. So just want to give Tammy a shout out. And also the other committee members, because I know we talked about it for quite a while. The other thing is to consider approval of a $4,000 contribution to the Lion Foundation. This is something we've been doing the last few years, so that's under consideration. We do have the 2026 budget presentation as well. I wanted to let you all know that our next meeting is October 27th at 4:30.
Thank you.
Presentation.
What are you doing? Oh, no, I just wanted to ask, I'm sorry. I was like, what are you doing? No, I wanted to ask, I was trying to find it, or Mercedes, if you remember, but I know Sarah sent it afterwards, because we had asked about, yes, we do budget routinely and support the Lion Foundation, but we had also asked for additional information in terms of what that contribution helps fund, and I thought that was important information to share, just to keep, yes. Can you just share that a little bit?
Sure. So it says a contribution of $4,000 would allow the Lion Foundation to fund meaningful programs. So one of them, it's called the GA BizTown, so $3,600 would go to that. All fifth grade students could have the opportunity to participate in the South Central Pennsylvania Junior Achievements BizTown Simulation Experience related classroom lessons. And then $400 would go to a kindergarten community field trip.
Thank you. Yeah, there are very limited purposes to which we can contribute and donate, but because this benefits the children of our borough, that's why we do what we do in regards to that contribution. Now, Sarah.
Welcome to the 2026 budget. I'm just going to do a little bit of an overview. It's as much for the audience as for the people at the table. The people at the table are going to have homework after this presentation, and the audience does not. So tonight we're presenting the 2026 draft budget, which incorporates staff's recommendations to balance our day-to-day operating expenses and income while anticipating and setting funds aside for long-range capital projects. It does work. Okay. I have this tool. The borough operates 8 funds, each of which has its own source of revenue, and the funds are listed there. The Pennsylvania Department of Economic Development assigns accounting codes that we apply to each of our funds, so they can be adapted to our needs and are applicable across various funds. Revenue line items generally start with 300, expenditure line items start with 400, and the other digits in each line item identify the department and activity. The objectives of the annual budget are to evaluate our current year's financial activity, compare this activity to prior years, and assess our needs for the coming year. For the purposes of tonight's presentation, I will give a very brief overview of our expectations for each fund. We will then move forward through our budget workshops, fine-tuning the budget with each discussion. We have presented a balanced budget for each fund to start this conversation. And you all have in front of you your budget workbooks. Those are assigned to you, and you can use them as you wish. We will replace pages as we move forward, and you can keep the original and add pages to it, or you can pull out your pages and start fresh with new pages. The general fund is the largest of our funds. It includes real estate taxes and income taxes. Other revenues are fees from licenses, permits, charges for services, and grants. Almost all salaries and benefits are budgeted and paid for from the general fund, as are all departmental operating expenses, including administration, public safety, codes, public works, and recreation. Wages for the Public Works Department are reimbursed from other funds when the staff's work relates to stormwater pipe maintenance or sewer pump station checks, for example. Our proposed 2026 general fund budgeted expenditures are somewhat lower than last year's, while overall revenues are projected to be essentially the same. No change to tax rates is proposed. And maybe I should have started at the beginning. When I say our, I mostly mean Natalie. And she's sitting over there very quietly while I take credit for her work. But you'll hear from her at the budget workshops. The cemetery fund is very simple. It's sustained by investment income and burial fees. Maintenance wages make up most of the expenditures in this very small fund. Our swimming pool fund budget is supported only by fees and concession sales. Our objective is to match the fees to expenditures so that we do not have to transfer from the general fund. Pool membership and daily fees were increased in 2025 to offset increased staff wages. This year, in 2026, we do not expect any increases either in revenues or in expenditures. Large capital items are run through the capital fund, as the pool fund does not generate enough revenue to pay for items such as that. Liquid fuels fund is isolated, as it is solely funded by the state gas tax, plus any interest earned on those funds. This fund is audited by the state Auditor General's office every year. In 2025, we drew down on our reserves in this fund to pay for our microsurfacing project. No microsurfacing is planned for 2026, so our expenses are significantly lower. The sewer fund is a proprietary or business type fund, so its revenues generate from fees. The revenues generated from fees should support its yearly expenditures. What time is it? The sewer fund draws revenues from user fees, grants, and interest. The borough increased user fees in this fund in 2023. No increase is planned for 2026. The borough's sewage is processed by Hampton Township, and we are responsible to pay for the usage while also operating and maintaining our pipes and pump stations. The sewer fund pays for both day-to-day expenses and large, costly multi-year capital projects like the replacement of the pump station in Seabrook Park, which was completed in 2024. In 2025, the borough is using grant funds from the Small Water and Sewer Program to make safety improvements to the Creek Road Pump Station, which Louisa mentioned you should not walk through. The Waste Fund is funded by quarterly trash fees, which are matched to expenses of trash collection and disposal. So whatever Penn Waste charges us is what we charge to the residents. We bid a 3-year contract at the end of 2022, which was awarded to our sole bidder, Penn Waste, and that required a significant increase starting in April 2023. Astonishingly, that's been 3 years. Each subsequent year of the contract adds another 6% to the trash fee. Our current 3-year contract may be extended for 2 one-year terms. Beginning on April 1st, 2026, assuming that council determines to continue with the contract extension rather than rebidding, the per-unit quarterly trash fee will increase by 6% again. And we'll work up what that actual number will be. The Stormwater Fund, the Stormwater Authority Board makes recommendations to council about user fees and recommended expenditures. The authority has narrowed down its list of prioritized projects and has discussed increasing the quarterly stormwater fees over multiple years. The fee structure is intended to keep pace with inflation and set aside enough funds to finance capital projects and pay for ongoing operating expenses. The draft budget that you have before you includes a 30% fee increase in 2026. Unfortunately, our meetings are out of order. Usually the authority would meet the day before council, so I don't have final recommendation from them. You'll have that at your first budget meeting, but our initial conversation with them indicated that they would prefer to implement a 30% fee increase rather than something higher. So they will finalize the fee recommendations and their draft budget. The borough transfers funds from the general fund to the stormwater fund to offset costs. This year's budget proposes a transfer of $100,000 from the general fund to the stormwater fund, which is the same as the transfer in 2025. The borough also pays the stormwater fees for all of our own properties, so we will also have to pay 30% more in stormwater fees. The Capital Improvement Fund focuses on long-term planning and large projects which span multiple years. In 2025, we transferred $1,125,000 from the general fund to the Capital Improvement Fund. In 2026, we have proposed to transfer $1,100,000 due to the cost of the projects we anticipate. Our 5-year capital plan was reviewed at our August 20th public workshop. We have adjusted the numbers a bit since that conversation in order to balance the general fund. Our large projects and purchases are the biggest driver of the budget because they are more difficult to adapt to our actual income. So the next steps, the draft documents that we have prepared for council's review are divided by color, by fund. The line items have been expanded to provide more detail going back 3 years for your comparison. Each week of our budget planning, we can adjust our expectations if projections for 2025's year-end position changes. And we can also update our year-to-date figures as we spend and receive our 2025 dollars. And once council has reached a consensus, that's a picture of you achieving a consensus, we will prepare a written narrative with more detail about our specific line items and departments for public review. So here's the meeting schedule. We had our capital budget workshop on August 20th. That does not mean we can't change anything in the capital budget, and we probably will, but we really drilled down on that particular topic in August. On October 22nd, today's first council presentation. Welcome to the first council presentation. We will have our first regular budget workshop on October 22nd, and that will be here at 6 o'clock. We welcome public participation and public engagement with the budget process. The budget meetings lead up to the council meeting. There's a second budget meeting scheduled on November 5th, and then on November 12th, we will have to get on the same page and vote to advertise the budget. And then the budget, according to state law, must be adopted at our December 10th meeting. Happy budgeting. If If you have any preliminary questions, I can answer them. Otherwise, as I said, you have some homework. Just start looking over it. We will walk through, maybe not every single line item, but you can see how the trends change over the past few years. If things are kind of staying the same, you can, if you're satisfied with the way we've been spending in that particular area, you can move on to a line item that is of more interest to you. But we'll have lots of time for questions and a full, more detailed presentation on October 22nd. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Moving on to our reports and liaisons. And first, I don't want to put Alex on the spot, and I know she's not anticipating providing a report. But do you have any comments, or you want to introduce yourself or say hello to everyone?
Sure. I'm Alex. I'm a junior at Campbell. As far as safety goes, just something to add to that, we did have an Alice drill at school today, so just one more layer of things that are going on within the school to assist in that matter. But other than that, no.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Tim with the Borough School District report.
Thank you. We met on September 24th, talked about a number of items. Again, micromobility was a large topic that was discussed. And really the message that I left the group with is that currently public safety would be handling micromobility as we discussed today, but depending on where discussions go, it might bounce back and forth to planning and zoning as needed. And so we'll see where the conversation goes and take appropriate steps as necessary. Secondarily, we talked about the installation of 4 stop signs in the southern end of the borough. This was something we had been working on, I think, at least the beginning of the summer, where folks had some concern around just the traffic patterns. And so we wanted to make some changes around that area to make it a little bit more safe for the population that walks back and forth to school. Next, we began talking about the emergency management planning. This is something that we do, I want to say, every year? Every other year? We do it at least twice a year. Twice a year. Yeah. And so, just talking to Superintendent Surface, that planning is now underway, and it includes all stakeholders, including the safety consultant and the district safety representative, which is a new position for the district. And then next, there were a few celebrations and events that they wanted to make sure that residents knew about and just how they went. First was the Cultural Heritage Celebration in May, followed by Stormfest in July, and then the National Night Out in early August. Superintendent Surface and the members of the board wanted to relay that all of those events went well and were well attended. That's my report. Thanks.
Thank you, Tim. Stormwater?
So as Sarah mentioned, the Stormwater Authority hasn't met yet. The authority meeting will be next Tuesday, October 14th at 8 a.m. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Louisa. Sustainability Committee?
Yeah, I have a brief report on the Sustainability Committee. They met last on September 11th. They discussed the survey that they did at Stormfest on home energy usage. We're currently gathering data from utility companies to compare aggregate energy usage in the borough in 2024, and we're comparing that to the 2019 data that was used to create the climate action plan. So we have to review this at least every 5 years to see how we're doing, meeting our goals. The committee encourages residents to explore renewable energy sources through the PA Power Switch Electric Choice Program, and that was part of one of the things they asked people in their survey. The committee is pleased that the borough has received a bronze designation under the Sustainable PA program, and of course we're moving forward to try to get silver designation in the future. And they meet tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Thank you, Sarah. Moving on to the Downtown Camp Hill Association.
Thanks. Okay, more events. The Harvest Hop is coming up very soon on October 18th. You've heard other people talking about other things going on that same day in town. We like to try to coordinate our events these days. It really seems to work out for everyone in the community to have lots of stuff going on at the same time. So October 18th, Harvest Hop is from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It'll be a fun fall community event along Market Street to support and explore our walkable, shoppable downtown. At Harvest Hop, there will be shopping and dining, a secret pumpkin scavenger hunt in local businesses to enter to win raffle baskets. I can say I got a sneak peek of how they're going to do this last night, and it involves QR codes, so I'm pretty excited. They've got geo-tracking on them. It's very interesting how they're going to figure it out. And then you're not going to have to ask some actual shopkeeper who's trying to actually do business to, sign something for you or anything like that. So I think that's going to be really neat, and I hear that the raffle baskets are going to be fantastic. There will also be activities at Frederickson Library. There will be glitter tattoos and cotton candy, s'mores station at the farmers market with the Boy Scouts, live music along Market Street, pop-up beer and cider gardens with Watershed Pub, Shy Bear Brewing, Liquid Noise Brewing, Plowman Cider, and more. And there will be a pop-up market on Farmers Market that day at Trinity Lutheran. I also heard from Trinity Lutheran that they're also having a trunk or treat that same day. Really? Yes, in the parking lot at Trinity Lutheran. So there is just a wealth of things going on. Speaking of wealth, Conti Wealth is going to have a bounce house. It's very exciting. There's all sorts of stuff going on. I think it's going to be, a much bigger event than even last year. So that's the one coming up, October 18th. Mark your calendars. Also, in November, we have a week of small business. Candy Cane Walk is Sunday, November 23rd. To Small Business Saturday, which is Saturday, November 29th. This will be a week of celebrating community and small business, shopping local, and the holidays. There will be letters to Santa, s'more stations, fun food truck editions, no last call marching band, visits from Santa, specials from businesses, and more. Stay tuned. Also, I have a save the date on here for the 4th Annual Miracle on 24th Street Makers Market. It is coming up. There are vendors signing up. There are food trucks signing up. It's going to be very exciting. That is on December 6th from 12 to 4. And then a reminder that the farmers market is still open. Every Tuesday until Thanksgiving from 3 to 7 at Trinity Lutheran. And lastly, we'd like to welcome some new businesses, which this sounds amazing. The Pearl Club at 1924 Market Street is a women's wellness lounge and spa with Pilates, yoga, personal training, and self-care. And then, if you didn't get enough working out, BioFit 717 is opening at 2155 Market Street, and they're offering functional and personal training. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Emily. Moving on to Michelle, who gets to share with us the last 3 reports.
I intended not to go in order just because. Can I switch orders? Okay, because we're talking about the Harvest Hop. No, right? Because you didn't mention this, and I don't know if you know that Birdtown is going to be there.
I did know that.
You did know?
I
Okay.
did know that.
And you let me say it.
I
Thank
know.
you. So I'm going to tell you about Birdtown first. We had a meeting on September 9th, and we are excited, and I think I told you guys last meeting, to be in collaboration with Cornerstone Coffee House with a bird-friendly brew. can't read today. So,
I heard last night it's really good.
oh my gosh, it is so good. So we were the nonprofit guest at Market on Market yesterday, and Cornerstone allowed us to take some samples to give out to everyone. And Liz actually ran around to everyone getting coffee. It's really good. It's bird friendly, which means it is thoughtfully sourced and shade grown to protect bird habitats. This light roast coffee has notes of brown sugar, fig, and maple. Doesn't it sound delicious? Okay, you can purchase it at Cornerstone, and $1 of the cost of the bag goes to the Appalachian Audubon Society, which is our local Audubon Society. And like I said, we're planning on having samples again at Harvest Hop on the 18th at Cornerstone, not at the market. But we have an online survey that we're hoping people will fill out. It's been in the newsletter, so if everybody wants to go there, we would meet at least, if everybody went, we would have at least, what, 6, 8 responses. We're hoping for 50. So our bird of the month, I'm sorry to say, was already posted. When we were at the market, these kids came in, they just knew so much about birds. So we asked them what they would like the bird of the month to be, and they said the scarlet tanager. So it's beautiful, so why not, right? But you can find more information on our Facebook page, and I hope everyone follows us. Our next meeting is Tuesday, the 14th at 3. But then, bless you, speaking of Frederickson Library, this is the last chance for me to tell you guys that their fundraiser, Night at the Museum, Night at the Library.
Night at the library.
Why? It's because you confused me that time. I'm like that, I do not care. Okay, Night at the Library. Tickets are being sold until October 14th only, so you really want to get there. It's held on October 25th from 6 until 9 after the library is closed. You do have to be 21 to enter. Capcog held their annual golf tournament and picnic on September 15th, and they have golf, which I don't do, but they also have a picnic and dinner, which I do. But what's really nice is we all get to sit and talk, and afterwards I was speaking with council members from Wormleysburg and Lemoyne, because they're so impressed with us, and especially wanted to say what a great Storm Fest we had. They even put it in their newsletters. So, again, our next meeting is actually like on the 20th. I'll actually have some more stuff to say. Right? Can't wait.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Michelle. That brings us to our second period of public comment. Is there anyone wishing to offer public comment? Please state your name and address, and be mindful of our 3-minute limit, please.
Megan Lesko, 113 North 20th Street. We purchased a Honda Prologue electric vehicle and received the zoning notice stating that our home EV charging station violates the borough code because it's considered the right-of-way. We're asking for your help and guidance or influence you may have to resolve this fairly, specifically amending Section 702, Accessory Buildings and Structures of the zoning code to align with the borough's climate action plan without forcing us into a costly appeal to the zoning hearing board. Our charger's location was chosen out of necessity and safety. Our garage sits about 100 feet behind the house off an alley that's in poor condition, unplowed, and no longer used by garbage trucks. The garage is also too small to fit our vehicle. Another option we considered was the side of the sidewalk closest to our house. However, this would require that the cord be laid across the sidewalk, which could be a tripping hazard even with the cord cover ramp. We would also have to park our car in the wrong direction of the street for the charger to reach the plug in the car. For these reasons, the practical, affordable, and safe location was near the front of the property between the street and the sidewalk. The charger was professionally installed with buried wiring to prevent hazards. The post was set in concrete below the frost line. It was landscaped with stone, stained for appearance, and topped with a solar light for visibility. It is narrow, fixed, does not block pedestrians, cars, or access in any way. We also understand that we cannot restrict parking in front of it, and the right-of-way remains fully public. Across Camp Hill, you'll find similar accessory structures within the right-of-way as precedents. Free little libraries, borough trail markers, mailboxes, lampposts, crosswalk button posts, and benches. Nationally, municipalities treat home EV chargers as standard accessory uses, like HVAC and solar panels. Recognizing borough residents' EV chargers in the same way aligns Camp Hill with those modern practices and applies consistency to similar structures in similar locations. Both the 2022 Cumberland County and 2023 Camp Hill Climate Action Plans identify transportation emissions as major contributors to greenhouse gases and call for expanded EV charging access. Our charger directly supports these goals, but the code has not been updated to consider the uniqueness of the borough, a place where not everyone has a usable garage or alley. Adding a clause to Section 702 explicitly recognizing EV charging equipment as permitted accessory structure would be simple, consistent with the section's purpose, and in line with the borough's climate action plan and sustainability priorities. It would provide residents with clear guidance, ensure safety standards are met, and prevent others from being caught in the same outdated code conflict with costly individual resolutions. In short, this is a safe, well-built installation that supports borough and county policy and sustainability goals, yet we've been told it must be removed or formally appealed. We believe our charger should serve as the standard for residents without usable garages and alleys. We're happy to work with council and the zoning board and answer any questions on this to reach a fair resolution without the financial burden of a zoning appeal, which in turn would promote the EV use in the borough in the future. And I do have like pictures if you want them. You can just, of our charger and some of the other things placed in right-of-way and also our alley condition. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to offer public comment? Okay. That brings us then to council consideration. Beginning with our first action item, is there a motion and a second to award the IDIQ sanitary sewer and stormwater maintenance and emergency repair contract to Regal Incorporated based upon their bid amount of $303,075?
Second.
Louisa moves, Michelle seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
The motion passes unanimously. Next, is there a motion and a second to award the 2025 sanitary sewer lining contract through CoStars to Mr. Rehab in the amount of $344,955.50?
Second.
Louisa moves, Emily seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Is there a motion and a second to execute an assignment and assumption agreement to transfer remaining contractual responsibilities from ARRC to Kinsley Construction for the Seabrook Park Stream Trail and Kayak Launch Project?
Second.
Louisa moves, Michelle seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Is there a motion and a second to authorize the sale of a 2016 Ventrac tractor on municipal bid for the amount of that is the one that we already sold? Or is that's the one that we're selling? Authorize the sale of a 2016 Ventrac tractor on municipal bid for the amount of $18,500.
Second. Sorry.
Louisa moves, Emily seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Is there a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 2025-05 to install signage for a full stop intersection at Russell Road and Country Club Road? Tim moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Michelle seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Is there a motion and a second to approve a stormwater agreement with Sean Seraph of 2600 Logan Street?
Second.
Louisa moves, Mercedes seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously. Is there a motion and a second to approve a managed information technology services contract with Appalachia Technologies LLC?
Second.
Mercedes moves, Michelle seconds. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to echo what Mercedes said just about the process and Tammy. And initially, I think when the process began, there's some questions. I do think, based on what I understand, that Appalachia provides the best service for the price. My initial thought was that the proposal that they had laid out was far too expensive based on the market. I am glad that Tammy was able to get that down. And I wanted to make one slight correction. That is to say that it went from, I think, over $10,000 to a little over $7,000 per month. So when you think about it per year, you're looking almost 40 grand. So it was quite a bit of a difference, and I want to say thank you for the team for that.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Lastly, is there a motion and a second to approve a $4,000 contribution to the Lion Foundation?
Second.
Mercedes moves, Emily seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. That brings us to our final comment of our final period of public comment. Is there anyone wishing to come to the podium? Okay. That brings us to closing remarks by council. Are there any closing remarks?
I wanted to welcome my daughter Alex to council. That's all right.
Hey, you're related.
Thank you.
That's really cool that you're here.
Thank you. I just, 3 things to share before we close out this evening. First of which is, of course, November 4th, Election Day was mentioned earlier. Please make a plan to vote when you will get to choose your school board, council, and mayor candidates. And I extend appreciation and thanks to everyone who's running in a position, whichever it is, and I wish whoever is chosen the best of luck. So, next, on November 6th, just a shout out on behalf of the Campbell Historical Society. They are having a meeting here in the Borough Building on November 6th, I believe, at 6 p.m. That topic will be about the Whitehall Soldiers Orphan School, which operated from 1866 to 1890 on the 2100 block of Market. There is a monument in Willow Park, and that school served to educate orphans of the Civil War, and they graduated at the age of 16 and then became known as the 16ers. And then lastly, on November 10th, say happy birthday to our borough. It will mark our 140th anniversary since being incorporated on November 10th, 1885. Okay, pretty cool. More to say about that next month. But with that, and there being no other business, this meeting stands adjourned.
Thank you.